Welcome to Wise Take DFS Podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I'm joined by two very special guests. We got my man Cuse, aka The Beast, aka Brock Lesnar. You can find him on Twitter at Syracuse with 4 E's. And of course, it's been a while, but we got our boy Goudsaab back. Goudsaab's been busy doing his thing. With a thing called life, that he has. Sometimes he has to tend to that from time to time. But he had some free time for us, man. So he hopped on the pod, man. He wasn't doing it. He's getting ready to set his golf lineups anyway. You can obviously find Goudsaab at DFS Nawab. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing good, Chris. Doing good.
I would have been doing a lot better if the Phillies or Marlins stepped it up tonight, but
yeah,
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Well, Gady said it yesterday. He was like, hey, listen, you got to talk to me tomorrow. If I tell you I'm playing Stanton, then stay away from him. And sure enough, he played Stanton. And Stanton got him another goose egg. He told me, Goudsaab, one of our boys, one of our good friends, Mr. Slim Gady, he's telling me that he's played Stanton a few times this month, right? And every time he's played him this month, he's gotten a goose egg from him. And I'm like, how? How is that even possible? Like, the guy, he's like the highest player in baseball. It's a home run in his sleep. How do you find the games? And so he was like, listen, I'll let you know tomorrow if I'm going to play the guy or not. If I play the guy, you're going to stay away from him. Sure enough, he played him, and he got the goose egg, so I don't know what to say, man.
Yeah, you remember when, during your show at 5:30, I asked, is Gio going to be a chalk? Yes. Everybody said Gio is going to be chalk. Then what I've done is, I stacked the Milwaukee. It paid off.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That was exactly the process. It paid off. And then especially once Bum went out. Once they scratched Bum, I said in the chat before I left, I was like, oh my God, Gio's going to be 80% owned. He's the only guy left. And definitely, man, that's the way a team comes together and we start spitballing ideas. That's one of the best things about those live shows, man. It's and between the chat and the guys on the stream, it's everybody talks and it's we process, something just pops out. You know what? Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's just play this side then. It's you know what I mean? That's a lot of fun.
When did Cameron Maybin get traded? I just saw that on our news.
Just now.
This afternoon.
Yeah, this afternoon or something. Yeah, exactly. And then I think Brandon Phillips also just got traded to the Angels.
Angels are doing a lot of moving.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they're doing what they can, but the guys they're getting, Brandon Phillips, I was just I guess it's better than what their options now,
Yeah,
but
what do they got? Pennington, and I don't even know who the other guy. Their second baseman kind of weak for that.
Their second baseman always bats ninth. That's all I know. Yeah. Whoever it is, he's always batting ninth.
They've also got Justin Upton from Detroit, right?
That was cool. That was a big move. That was bold right there.
Yeah, they blocked my Giants from getting them. I don't know why the Giants were even.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Mental.
That's so weird. I don't know. What were they thinking?
Maybe for next year, but
maybe.
Let's worry about that next year.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's take a crack at him next year. We'll see where he's at with. He's going to the Angels, so he's not far. It's just you know what I mean?
Yeah, right? Give him a taste of Cali.
Oh yeah, definitely. There you go. For sure. So anyway, we got 13 games today. So there's I think it's a pretty solid slate. Cuse was a little bummed because he thought there was a game that wasn't on the main slate, but we discovered that it is. It's all good. So I think Cuse is a little happier now. And we want to keep the Beast happy. You know how that goes. So, gentlemen, you want to dive into the slate?
I'm good. I'm ready to go.
All right, man. First game, we got Doug Fister of the Boston Red Sox visiting Sonny Gray of Paulie D's New York Yankees. Cuse, why don't you start us off? Do me a favor, Cuse, on this show, I want you to give me a little bit of maybe a cash game perspective, and then give me your GPP pivots and such. And then Goudsaab, obviously, man, you're my tournament guy here, obviously.
Sure.
Start us off, Cuse.
I really don't have any interest in either one of these pitchers. Last time I was on the show a few weeks ago, the Red Sox went the Yankees, and I had mentioned they always have a game which it has a tendency to go off, and it didn't happen that day. Both these pitchers, I'm not a big Sonny Gray fan. I really liked him when he was with Oakland. Now that he's with the Yankees, he's done pretty good, but I can definitely see Boston hit him well tomorrow. It's a big rivalry game. They're starting getting tight in the division, so I can definitely see this game going off. So I'm not touching either one of these pitchers. I do have a little interest in Sanchez. I mean, the guy's just hitting bombs like left and right. As far as Boston, you're gonna have to pick your spots for the bats. Like if you like Benintendi or Nunez at the top, I have no problem with that. Bogart's just been not hitting the ball very well. Moreland and Devers, I'm interested in depending on where they bat tomorrow. But as far as the Yankees bats, the only guy that I'm interested in is Sanchez.
Okay, gotcha. Goudsaab, what you got here, man?
Even I don't have much interest in either of those pitchers. Sonny Gray, even though he's like cheap, he's only 8.8 on DraftKings. But the Boston, like they don't strike out much, and on DraftKings, if you don't get much cases, no much upside picking up a pitcher. So I don't think like I can pay for either Gray or Fister.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. You got any interest in any of these offenses here?
Not exactly. I want to stack either of these teams, but maybe pick like one off from both the teams. Maybe Didi from Yankees or Devers from Boston, but I don't have much interest in stacking these teams.
Gotcha. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. It's funny because today, Patio Joe on the live stream, we always talk about how, especially on FanDuel with the pricing, it's like there are certain days where Patio Joe, he follows that template of pay down at catcher as one of the ever since Gary Sanchez has been in the league, though, he's been the exception to the rule, kind of. Right. And so, it's like there are some slates where, if he's against any kind of mediocre pitcher, I feel like he's almost a must. This is different. This is 13 games. But, on a game like today, man, I think, Joe was like, what do you think? Is this a day where you have to play him cash? And it's just, we all looked at each other yeah. It's you have to. Erod's not elite enough that you'll be scared. It's a lefty. He's at home. It's there's some times where it's like that on FanDuel. You have to play the guy in cash because if you don't and he hits a home run, you're just screwed. It's what I mean? Oh man, that's always funny. Here's one of the Wise Take favorites. Maybe not in this spot, but in general, Luis Castillo of the Cincinnati Reds visiting Garrett Cole of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Start us off, Cuse.
I have no interest in one of these pitchers. Cole is just overpriced in my opinion on both sites. He's 9-1 on FanDuel. He's 11-1 on DraftKings. He's the second highest pitcher for tomorrow. I just don't think that he's going to get the value you need either in cash or GPPs tomorrow. Same thing with Castillo. We've been a fan of him for a while. We've been on him, but I think his price tag's starting to get to the point, even though they're playing Pitt, that I just don't think point per dollar he's going to be a viable option for me on either FanDuel or DraftKings. At least on FanDuel, he's a little bit cheaper. He's 8-1, and he's not near the top. I think on DraftKings he's the third highest pitcher. So I have no interest in either one of these pitchers. And then on a big slate like tomorrow, I'm not going to be playing either one of these bats.
Okay. Goudsaab, what you got for me, man?
Actually, I'm interested in both the pitchers. If you're playing GPPs, right, looking at these prices, people will just try to fade both these pitchers. But looking at the weather, it's 60, perfect weather for the pitching. And the wind is blowing in at 9 or 10 miles per hour. And this Castillo, guys, he is legit. So he's got good strikeout upside. And Cole, he's so inconsistent. People were shy off from him. Looking at that 11K price tag, people will, just skip him. But I think he's a good GPP play along with Castillo. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Yeah, I could definitely see the low scoring. I mean, we got it. There's 13 games on the slate. It's a low total. These are two teams that don't typically strike out, but we've seen them do it. And I think that Pittsburgh, for instance, especially on DraftKings where you get extra points for a complete game. Now, we don't know for sure if Luis Castillo could do it, but we've seen him get close. But Pittsburgh is kind of that team where, even if they're not striking out, they'll just get out so quickly. We'll see a guy end up with 8 Ks, but he went 9 innings. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's always something to keep in mind against Pittsburgh. But it's funny to hear. I'm thinking about this as you guys are talking, and I'm like, wait a minute. We have the pitching goat. That's what the nation has deemed Cuse. The pitching.
It's early. It's early though.
And then we have the Oracle. We have the Oracle. Well, another nickname of the Wise Take Nation. So I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my god, this show is going to be about all the pitching you could get. It's just like,
the one thing going in Goudsaab's favor is the team VM. Looking at the team VMIs for tomorrow. Usually the first game of the slate is really good to look at the VMIs, because usually second, third game of the series they kind of like even out a little bit. Mm-hmm. But both the Reds and Pirates have really high negative VMIs, and it should be a good for pitchers tomorrow because of the low temperatures in Pittsburgh. So both pitchers in this game could be so this could be really good for pitching tomorrow. Like looking at it now and after, so he might, he's got a really good point.
Wow, I didn't even realize that. 60 degrees.
As I said, like Castillo, this guy is legit. Looking at his numbers, right? He's got like 28% K rate against righties and 23 against lefties. He's a good ground ball pitcher. He's like 60% ground ball against righties, 56 against lefties. I see at least 5 batters from Pittsburgh who's got more than 20% K rate. So, and the weather and the wind blowing in, definitely a good GPP option. And you can get him at low ownership for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely think the low ownership thing for sure, like 100%. I think it's a good call, and yeah, man, Cuse, good point, man. 60 degrees, holy shit! It has been chilly up here. You live in the Northeast too, man. It's been chilly up here.
Yep.
Goudsaab, you're down on like a little further south, down in the Carolinas. What's the weather? Has it been cool down there? The weather?
Yeah, actually, it's a little cool today. It's like 72 or something.
Really? That's interesting. So there definitely is a cold front going along the East Coast. Yeah, that's something to keep an eye on for sure. Joe Biagini of the Toronto Blue Jays visiting Kevin Gausman of the Baltimore Orioles. What you got, Cuse?
I love Gausman tomorrow. He was on a really, really hot streak for a while. He's had a few subpar games mixed in his last 5, but absolutely, like just mentioning that we were talking about with the temperatures in the Northeast, this game has got one of the best pitching conditions for pitching tomorrow. It's got the highest ADI on the slate. Both teams are have really negative VMIs, which indicates that they should struggle hitting the ball. So I love Gausman tomorrow. Like, I think he's going to do really good against the Blue Jays. I know the Blue Jays hit today, but they're not going to be facing. They weren't facing Gausman today. Gausman's turned the corner a little bit, and I don't think he's going to be highly owned. He's an early favorite right now, so I like him. Biagini, don't really have any interest. Baltimore's been crushing the ball. Like, I just think there's better plays for tomorrow instead of using him. As far as the bats, I had interest in Baltimore. But looking at the VMIs, I want to look at it tomorrow. I probably won't full stack him. I might have a one-off or something in that game.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Goudsaab, what do you think, man?
This is the game you have to pick for your batch. This Biagini, whoever this guy, he's a gas can. Looking at his logs, every team who played against him scored more than 5 runs and has like 3 innings or 4 innings. And Baltimore is red hot. So this is the game I want to stack, and especially the Baltimore side. And even on Toronto side, I don't mind the lefties, especially the Smoke and the Morales. You saw what Morales can do today, right? He hit 3 home runs and he gave like 80 points or something on FanDuel. So I don't mind those 2 lefties from Toronto, and definitely the Baltimore team is probably my number 2 or number 3 team to stack for tomorrow.
Yeah, man, 3 home runs. Well, that was just insane. That was just insane. Yeah, I played Aguiar, so like I could have played him, and I just didn't. And
it was the one thing I got right today. Right there, I had like 75% Morales, so he helped me in a few.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. All right, we got Nick Pivetta of the Philadelphia Phillies visiting. I'm seeing Dylan Peters of the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, I see the same name.
Okay, what you got, Cuse?
This is the first time I'm even looking at Peters. I just saw his name and I was like, "Who is this guy?" So he's coming up from like really he's done decent in the minors, but the Phillies have been struggling. So first take, I obviously want to dig into it tomorrow. If you're going with like an expensive stack, it might be somebody to consider only because of how bad the Phillies have been. I was really surprised today. Like I figured they'd at least get 5-6 runs, and I watched the game because I had a lot of exposure to it on both sides. They just looked terrible up there. Galvis was just stabbing at the ball. The one guy that two guys I was interested in was Nick Williams, who doesn't hit lefties that well. So tomorrow I think he'll have a tough time. And Hoskins didn't look himself either, but he'll at least tomorrow he's going up against a lefty. So if I do play Peters, that's the only guy I'm really worried about as far as in the Phillies lineup. As far as Pivetta, I'm probably not going to touch Pivetta. I just think there's better options. As far as bats for this game, I'm probably not going to touch either side of this for bats.
Okay. Goudsaab, what you got here, man?
So Peters got good minor league numbers. He's got like 23% K rate, 11% swinging strike rate. He doesn't have any walk issues. It's like less than 5%, and he's got an ERA of less than 2. So it looks like he's a good prospect. So I don't have much interest in stacking this Phillies team back to in like 13 game slate. Probably I'll pick my one-off like Hoskins or Nick Williams from this team. But coming to Miami, I'm not sure why this Vegas score is so high, 5.5, and I'm seeing like it's trending up. Nick Pivetta is not that bad pitcher. He's got good strikeout numbers, like over 20% or so. So I'm not sure what's wrong, but yeah, I see the score to be a little fishy. So I'll wait till probably tomorrow 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock and see how this Vegas score goes, and then probably I'll decide if I want to stack Miami or not.
Yeah, that makes some sense. I get the logic. I get it. Let's see what we got next. We go. One of Cuse's games here. We got Carlos Carrasco of the Cleveland Indians visiting Matt Boyd, the lefty from the Detroit Tigers. So I do want to note that I think FanDuel as of now has Clevenger and Farmer, but so we're not sure. It's a doubleheader, so we're not sure who's who. But I'm seeing on Labs right now they have Carrasco and Boyd. So if you guys have any other insight on that, feel free.
I don't think they know. I think it's going to be one of the two, and we're going to have to wait to find out.
Yeah, no, the Vegas Insider has Carrasco and Boyd for this second game.
That makes sense because I see a line on the second game, and I see Cleveland minus 160, and I think that makes sense for Carrasco on the road.
Right. Yep.
Oh, Carrasco on the road. Oh, my God, against the Tigers. Oh, my God. Cuse.
Yeah.
Talk to me, bro.
So, no secret what we do here at Wise Take. The Coors hangover is for real. We've been going back and forth on this. It's one of the things I've been on for 2-3 months. Even with having a day off in between, like the Tigers have, it really doesn't change much. If you go back into the history of teams coming off Coors, the only teams that have really actually had a decent success were going up against really, really bad pitchers. And Carrasco's not classified as a really, really bad pitcher. So I love Carrasco tomorrow. Even if it wasn't him, if Clevenger plays an early slate, I'm loving Cleveland pitching tomorrow. So it'd probably be one of my top 3 pitchers for tomorrow. As far as the bats go, obviously we're not touching Detroit. And I'll have some exposure to the Indians tomorrow on both slates. They should crush Boyd.
Okay, I'm with it. Goudsaab, what do you think here with Boyd?
I don't have any interest in Boyd, but Carrasco definitely is one of your cash game pitchers to look into. So just like the Pittsburgh weather, it's overcast over here. It's less than 60 tomorrow. The wind is blowing in at 10. Carrasco, he is good. He's got good K upside, so probably he's like number 2 or number 1 your cash game pitcher. I have no interest in stacking Detroit. Cleveland is a team either I'll stack or I'll just leave, but I'll not pick one off from this particular team.
Yeah, I got that.
Carrasco no hitter, right?
Oh, I could see it. Oh, I could totally see it. Huh. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be fun. And now they don't have Upton, who was like literally their only good hitter right now. Kinsler's been shit, and Castellanos, he's been okay, I guess. But Upton's been like their guy this year.
Yeah.
And when is Miggy gonna get suspended? Is that happening still, or they're
just
like,
what's going on with that?
I mean, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get the appeal process, I get, but like, I mean, it doesn't really matter because he's hurt all the time anyway. It's just
they're out of the playoff race. Just sit,
just sit,
it's
man.
not like it's a tight, not like they're fighting for a wild card.
Yeah, man, dude's got a bad back, man. He's got a bad back. Every time he gets scratched, I see back tightness. He's got a bad back. He's throwing punches though. He's got a bad back, but he can throw a punch.
So if I said Carrasco is your number one pitcher, I'll take that back. Probably he's your number two. I didn't see Kershaw pitching tomorrow against Padres, so I'm sorry.
It's the Padres.
But Kershaw is on what I saw. Kershaw is on a 5-inning, 75-pitch limit, so I still have Carrasco above him.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually noted. Where did I see that? I saw it actually in the FanDuel notes because I woke up not too long ago. It said August 31st for the notes says Robert said Kershaw will be on a loose 5-inning, 75-pitch limit in his first start from the DL. So that kind of with his price,
yeah, that's 13.5. So.
Yeah, it's almost like he's not you might as well just take him off, in my opinion. But yeah, yeah.
That's a great point, man. Definitely. You heard it here. You heard it here in the Wise Take podcast.
But I was loving that until I saw that, and I said the same thing. I'm like, oh, against the Padres, and I saw that, and I said, oh, forget it.
Oh, man. Tyler Skaggs, the lefty from the Los Angeles Angels, who are all of a sudden trying to make this massive push, visiting Cole Hamels, the guy that I can't stand from the Texas Rangers. Cuse, what you got here, brother?
I think this is the same exact game that helped me last week win that GPP. I think it's the same matchup, and the reason I love
it was in Los Angeles, right?
I think it was in LA,
right?
Which isn't going to change anything. The reason I played Hamels that day was because of he's just. I know the Angels aren't the same team they were, for the whole season, but he just faced them last week. He's got a pretty decent game log against the Angels this year. He's got a 34, 51, and 30. So he's been pretty consistent against the Angels this year on FanDuel and DraftKings. So I think he's a decent pitcher for maybe either cash games and maybe even possibly tournaments. I'm not sure the upside's there. I just don't see him getting blown up. So I think it's a safe for him to play him in cash. If you want to go him Carrasco, obviously Carrasco's the best. So if you can get value plays with him and Hamels, Carrasco and Hamels, I like Hamels. I don't think Hamels is going to match Carrasco's ceiling. As far as Skaggs, the Rangers tore him up last week. So I definitely have some exposure to the Rangers tomorrow. I really like them against Skaggs.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's interesting. Goudsaab, what you got here, brother?
Yeah, these guys have played probably a week back, and it was a high-scoring game, so probably it's the game to start. Scores look like 5.5 and 5.3 and 5.4, and it's 90 degrees in Texas tomorrow. Humidity 35. So looks like a good game start here. And if you're stacking Angels, do not leave two holes out of your stack. I made that mistake. Please, guys, don't make that. He's the hottest bat in that Angels team. He's got an ISO over 300 in last month. So if you're stacking Angels, have Pujols in your team stack.
Looking at the Angels. I keep forgetting Upton's there. Looking at that lineup, now you got Simmons, Trout, Pujols, Upton, Calhoun, Cron, Valbuena. That's a pretty.
I don't think Upton's gonna play tomorrow.
Yeah. Who?
No, I don't think Upton's gonna play tomorrow.
You don't. Yeah. If he doesn't play, I like Hamels, but I think if he plays, it's something you got to consider because he's absolutely crushed lefties.
Oh yeah, man, he's been absolutely unbelievable lefties this year. Show. Did we talk about the bats, Goudsaab? Yeah, you were saying that you like the bats in this game.
Yeah, definitely bats in this game. And if you want to stack and if you want to be contrarian, so stack the bottom 5 of this Texas Rangers team. You have the same upside as the top 5, and you get this bat at the little lesser ownership. And if you see the last 5, right, it's Gallo, Gomez, Napoli, Ora, and Robinson Chirino. So all 5 have more than 200 ISO. So if you want to stack Rangers team, go a little contrarian, stack bottom 5.
Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff is obviously a great way to go in tournaments just to get different. Whenever you're concerned about playing a chalky team, there's a lot of ways to have a contrarian build. Remember, on DraftKings you can only have 5, and on FanDuel you can only have 4. So there's still guys you can take from a stack that aren't going to be as chalky as the rest of the bunch.
Did Beltre get hurt? I don't know if he was playing today. They didn't play today, first of all, right? Rangers?
No, they did not play today.
Yeah,
I
did see a day-to-day type
right?
of thing. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Something
he had a day-to-day mark on him. So that's something. That's a great point. Something to look into. He's another big lefty masher. So that would definitely be a little chunk missing from their lineup there.
And your cash game catcher is Robinson Chirinos. He's only 3.2. He's got over 400 WOBA against lefties and 300 ISO against lefties. And he's batting 9th, so he's definitely your cash game catcher tomorrow.
Love Chirinos. He's one of my favorite.
Oh, yeah. I could dig that, man. That dude, especially against lefty, that dude is phenomenal. Especially at home. It seems like in this ballpark, he just mashes in this ballpark.
Yeah.
Great call. Jason Hamill of the Kansas City Royals visiting Dylan G of the Minnesota Twins. What you got, Cuse?
Both pitchers are see you later, bye, not touching either one. As far as the bats in this game, I actually like a little bit of Minnesota, especially the lefties. Kansas City, if they haven't been struggling as much as they have, I would definitely be all over them. But just the fact of how bad they've been playing, it's really hard to roster any of them right now. Like I've been all over Moose for like the last week, and I think in like the last 7 days, maybe he's got me 2 points. I feel like every time I play Moose, I do the Slim Gady with the Stanton, like he doesn't do anything. So I'm not playing him tomorrow, just in case anybody's asking. So feel free to play him. But like the Minnesota lefty bats, and I'm probably just not going to touch Kansas City until they prove they can do something to me, even against Dylan J.
Okay, yeah, I hear that, man. Goudsaab, what do you think?
On a 13-game slate, probably I'll fade this game. This could be a good contrarian teams to stack, but on a 13-game slate, Jason Hamill is not a gas can. He's a good pitcher, and he's been pitching good lately. And Dylan G, he's got good home road splits, and the wind is blowing in, and the temperature is like only 64. So I don't want to take chances on this game. So I'll not play the pitchers, or I'll not stack the game.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, man. I think that makes a lot of sense. Hamill's definitely having like a resurgent type year, man. This is a guy that, when he was on the Cubs that one year, everybody was like, oh man, this guy's phenomenal. And then he just had a horrendous year the following year. Went to the Royals, it looked like crap, and all of a sudden now he's been pitching well. And he doesn't have like overwhelmingly powerful stuff, man. He's one of those finesse pitchers, and he's figuring it out, for sure. Tanner Roark of the Washington Nationals visiting Jimmy Nelson, another Wise Take favorite of the Milwaukee Brewers. Tell me about Nelson, Cuse.
I love Nelson. He's probably my third favorite pitcher on the slate, even for cash. I haven't looked at his salary yet. He's 8.4 on DraftKings.
He's 8.5
and 8.5. So he's very manageable. Washington, I haven't seen what they did tonight, but when I looked, I think they had like 2 runs, so still struggling. Nelson can get the Ks, so with his price, you can still fit a lot of bats in. So I think Nelson's gonna be one of my GPP pitchers if I'm trying to match Carrasco, which I'm not sure anybody's gonna be able to do tomorrow. But I'll take a shot maybe with Nelson. As far as the bats go, I think I'm gonna, I'd love to see Shaw back in this lineup. If Shaw's back in this lineup, I'd like Milwaukee a little bit more. Not touching the Nats until they start hitting. They're in my Kansas City doghouse.
They're on the Cuse shit list. I get
it.
Yeah. He put it a nice way, Kansas City doghouse. Cuse is a family man. He chose the right words. He did.
Not always.
Not always, but he did this time. That nap, that's what it was, bro. It was that nap. Did you good, man.
I needed
Charged
it.
you up. Outside, what you got for us here, man?
So I have little interest in both these pitchers in GPP only, not the cash game. Definitely Jimmy Nelson not in the cash game. I want to see little consistent stats before I play him in cash. So looking at his stats last 3 games, just like minus 10, 16, 10, 23, he's inconsistent. So probably I'll wait 3 or 4 more games before I play him in cash. But definitely a good GPP play. He's like 8.4. This Washington Nationals team is not doing anything except I've seen Trey Turner is back today and he's back with a bang. He's probably scored like 30 points or something on FanDuel. So I don't mind him playing as one off, but I don't have any interest in stacking these two teams or playing these two pitchers in cash games. But definitely some exposure in the GPPs.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. The Brewers are always a threat to strike out. Today was just one of those, like, at a certain point on how many games were there? There's 6 or something like that tonight.
6.
Yeah.
So if there's 6 games and you can just pick a guy and like listen, Gio is having a great year, but I'm starting to see things about Gio, one of the best pitchers in baseball, yada yada yada, and like he's got good stuff this year. But like to me, this year is like much significantly better than any of the years he's ever had. So like I'm not sure I'm quite sold that I would consider him an elite pitcher. But like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm a Met fan, but I respect the fact that he's having a great year. But when you know he's gonna be like to me, like he was playable until Bum got scratched. Like legitimately, I had one lineup with a Brewer stack and I had one lineup with Gio because I thought he was playable until Bumgarner got scratched. Then you're like, okay, man. Like at a certain point, it's like this guy's. I honestly thought he would have a decent game, so I'm thinking like. This guy's gonna have a decent game, but it doesn't make much sense for me to play him at this point. Once Bum got scratched, I was there it goes. You know what I mean? So in a way, it kind of did me good. It kind of got me off of him because I did like Gio a lot initially until we talked on the stream, talked the line movement, and all that kind of stuff. It seemed like a good. I was like, okay, people are gonna go to Bum. This is a pretty good tournament pivot here with Gio. I knew he was gonna be kind of popular, but I can deal with kind of. Once bad Bum went out, it like kind of ruined it. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, now he's the only option. You know what I'm saying?
What was the ownership on Hendricks?
40%.
What was it?
40%. Oh, that's on DraftKings. Like that's my point. On DraftKings, where you got to play 2 pitchers, like you knew he was just gonna be crazy.
Even on FanDuel, on that $222 GPP, he was like 43%.
Wow. I thought he was after I went with Gio. I just thought Gio had a little higher upside, but I was torn on it too, and after I saw the wind, I really should have went Hendricks, but Gio was in just such a too good of a spot today.
No, without a doubt, he was in a phenomenal spot, and that's my point. It's like I was willing to I'll eat a certain amount of chalk on a 6-game slate. I might be fine with it. But once Bum got scratched, it's like, oh, like literally the only 2 guys you knew people were going to go with at the top, like the was going to be him and Bum. But you figured at least Bum's going to take some of that off of him, alleviate him with some of that, the pressure, and then forget about it, man. After that, it's just an onslaught of Gio. It's just like, you know what I mean? It was just disappointing. Like, you know what I'm saying? On a 6-game slate, you lose a pitcher like that. It's like, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're really like, you start putting people in a bad situation. You know what I mean?
What was the reason they scratched Bumgarner? Was there a reason?
I think they said he was sick or something. I thought they said he was sick.
Yeah, we're probably sick of watching that team play. Terrible. I got my Giant shirt on now. It hurts to even wear this.
Oh man. Blake Snell of the Tampa Bay Rays visiting Ronaldo Lopez of the Chicago White Sox. Go ahead, Cuse.
This is one of those games that I'm on. I'm kind of in the in between. Like I can see. I really love Tampa Bay at first. My first look at this is I love Tampa Bay. They were going to be one of my favorite stacks tomorrow. I was going to go a mini stack, maybe a Duda, Kiermaier, Duda. A lefty with Souza. After looking at the VMIs for tomorrow for this game, both teams are pretty terrible. Tampa Bay's got a negative 5.39, and the White Sox got almost a negative 4. The hitting conditions are, similar to the Northeast. They got a 64-degree temperature, 54 humidity. So I think the pitchers are going to be more in play here tomorrow. So I might have I might have some exposure to Snell. Lopez, no thank you. But I want to look at tomorrow, but I may back off on the Tampa Bay bats tomorrow and, have a little bit of exposure to Snell. See if he's pitched against the White Sox and, if they've hit him at all. I'm assuming he doesn't have that many games pitched against them at all. So that would be it. If I play anything, it would just probably be Snell and a GPP flyer, and I might just go light in the bats for this game because of the team VMIs.
Yeah. Okay. Goudsaab, what you think, man?
So this is my number one stack of the day tomorrow, Tampa Bay. For the next 30 days, I'm going to stack every team playing opposite to Chicago White Sox. Their bullpen sucks. Literally sucks. I understand this Lopez guy is good. He's got good minor league numbers. So all they need to do is just play him out, probably make him pitch 60 or 70 in 3 innings. After that, it's the worst bullpen of this MLB. So they're just going to come and give the runs. And this power bats of Tampa Bay, looking at this ISO, 300, 290, 288, 281, 228. I have a lot of interest in stacking this Tampa Bay team.
I gotcha. Definitely a big ballpark boost for Tampa. Yeah. We'll definitely say that. Yes. Man, Blake Snell, man. Talk about a wild card dude, man. It's he's got the stuff. If he could just get his control down, he's got the stuff. He got swing and miss stuff. It's just that dude's his control issues, man. That's the problem is when he's throwing too many strikes, he's getting rocked. It's the only time he's really good is if he has a good ump and he's getting those outside inside because he works the corners. It's just when he has to throw a strike, he throws it right down the damn middle. It's you know what I mean? It's he's your ultimate wild card GPP flyer because he has the K upside, man. He's got it.
Right. He's got a 40 and a 55 his last 2 times out, and if the pitching conditions are really good for tomorrow,
damn,
that's
if this guy gets a good ump, man, watch out.
What's his price tag on FanDuel, Chris?
7.3, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
7.3, and the White Sox are only projected for 4.2 runs, which is considering the game total in this game, and wow, he's a 160 favorite.
Yeah,
and 67 degrees, like you said, Cuse. Wow, yeah. Blake Snell is definitely. If there was, I haven't played him all year. Last year I played him a couple times. This year I haven't played the guy once, and he was hurt for a lot of the year. But if I was ever going to consider playing him, this might actually be the spot right here.
Yeah. In the beginning of the season we thought don't play lefties against the White Sox because they're going to crush lefties and all. But this is not the same team, the same White Sox team. Many pieces have left this team. And I think Jose Abreu is questionable for tomorrow. If he's not in the lineup, load him up on FanDuel. 7.1 is the best price tag. He'll definitely give you 40 with a win. That's almost 46. Just take him and run.
Yeah, that's a great call, guys.
I think the wind is going to be a major factor. If the wind's blowing out, I'll have a little more interest in Tampa. If the wind's blowing in, it's the game shut down offensively for me. Because I love Tampa. I mean, on paper, Tampa Bay, when I first looked, is Goudsaab said, is one of my favorite stacks. But they haven't had that full game stack go off in a long time. Usually it's been just 2 guys, so I'm a little hesitant there. But if they get the wind going out, Souza's in play. You got all the lefties, so it's definitely a game I want to check out tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. I think that makes a lot of sense.
And the prices are cheap. Tampa is not. It's 3.9, 3.7, 4.4, 4.3. So they're not so high price. Definitely in play.
Yeah, definitely. Taijuan Walker of the Arizona Diamondbacks visiting Kyle Freeland, the lefty from the Colorado Rockies. Here's the Coors game. Cuse, what you got?
The one thing about Coors is if everybody remembers when baseball first started, back in April, everybody was all the rookies, all the people that don't play MLB DFS were stacking Coors, and they couldn't figure out why it wasn't going off. And then all of a sudden it started going off, and that's because of the temperatures. The temperatures are going back. They're trending downward now. They're not. It's not as hot. So the ball, we haven't had a really big Coors game since the temperature started dropping. The other day the temperature at game time was a little bit higher, but by the second or third inning, it had already dropped below. I think it was like 77. So like in Coors, to get that big Coors effect, like I want temperatures in the high 80s, low 90s. So I mean, I like both bats in this game. I'm not touching either one of the pitchers, but I don't know if I'm going to go full game stack on this. I might do a 3-man stack of either one of these teams. Like both teams are going to hit the ball, whether they have a 10-run. Either one of these teams scores 10 runs. I don't think it's going to happen, but I can definitely see like a 6-7 game somewhere along those lines. Like I don't think you're going to see the Coors that we've been seeing.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an interesting take for sure. Makes a lot of sense what we've seen lately. Goudsaab, what you got here, man?
Tijuan Walker, definitely GPP flyer. He's only 6.6 and he's got good upside. I'm going to play pitchers in the stadium till Colorado Rockies score some runs. I want to see one game where they score more than 12 or 13 runs, then probably I'll be off from the pitchers. These guys are not doing anything. Probably they may score runs, probably they may score 3 or 4 runs. But at 6.6 price tag, all I need is like 14 or 15 from Walker. And with that strikeout upside, probably I'm going to get it.
Yeah, man, it sounds like you both are kind of at the same point. You know what I mean? With Coors, it's just kind of like, listen, until they can show me that I need to be scared of taking pitchers here, I'm just going to keep doing it. We've seen it too many times. Like these pitchers are going in there. The Rocky pitchers are getting it done, and the opposing pitchers are getting it done. And Coors, man, the stadium everybody fears, and it's funny because people don't seem to have an issue. Like, as bad of an issue, I should say. There's definitely a thing against it, but people, seem to be more inclined to play a pitcher at Chase Field. And we've seen more runs scored in Chase Field. And yet we've seen, there's obviously a big discrepancy between this year and last year, and even going back further. Every year it seems to kind of trend a little lower with Coors. And yet people still, man, they don't want anything to do with it. And my thing is, when you have a guy with strikeout upside, that's that's it. If he can get strikeouts, I don't care what stadium you're in. If he's going to strike you out, how are you going to hit a home run if he's striking you out? It's you know what I'm saying. So it's yeah, man. I think that's kind of we're coming towards the end of the season. I think that's one of the things that I could do. What'd you learn at the end of school? It's at the end of the year, what did you learn? I learned you can actually take some pitches in Coors. It's just you know what I mean,
Yeah. But I have a lot of interest on the Diamondback bat. All I want to see is give Peralta a break tomorrow and let Rosales lead off, and then you'll have nice 5 power 5 bats, so you can play all in a 1 to 5. Like Rosales, Aineda, Pollock, Goldschmidt, and Martinez play 1 to 5, and that's a good powerful stack.
Yeah, especially if Rosales as cheap as he was yesterday. Definitely love that.
It looks like he's 3-3. They jacked him up because of the Coors. On FanDuel. They gave him the Coors increase, which 3-3 is not bad. Don't get me wrong, but still, it's not that 2-2 he was the other. That was beautiful.
Yeah, even Iannetta, right?
Iannetta,
Yep, 3.5
Iannetta.
Yeah,
and he's got 3 home runs in last 6 games.
Yeah. That's on FanDuel. That's actually not bad. 3.5. Paul Goldschmidt. I know he's expensive on both sides, but that dude is just in cash games, is he somebody you kind of just have to do it? You have to suck it up and find a way to afford him?
Yeah.
I like him better versus righties. He's crushed righties this year.
Yeah.
I prefer Goldie versus righties. I haven't really looked at the first baseman pool. Let me just do a quick little. Yeah, I think tomorrow, even with the way it is, but I mean 5.4. You're gonna really want to pay 5.4 for him.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It depends on how you attack pitching.
Though, exactly. But if you look at his game logs, though, he's just been so damn automatic with points, man. It's
Yeah, and the Freeland guys throws a lot of sliders, and Goldschmidt is good against the sliders. Probably he's top 10 playing batting against the sliders. So definitely have some interest on Goldschmidt.
Yeah, he's something to think about. I have a feeling that Paulie is gonna like Carlos Gonzalez just because. Oh no, it's September, bro. It's September now. He might be off of him. He might be off of him. It's September.
Probably I won't ever play him after that game he got scratched. He's done for the year.
Oh my god.
He's on my list.
Oh man, that was a nightmare, man. That was.
Yeah.
And a lot of our members still cash, which was cool, but like that was just a kick in the nuts. That was just like, because that was like we were all on him. We were all like,
I loved them. I mean, there wasn't, I thought it was a great play and it was a great call.
Yeah. And there was a lot of smart other people on him. There was a lot of smart other people that were on him, and like it just like everybody just went down with him. But like people still got it done though. It was all right.
He was 40% in GPPs. I mean, so obviously we weren't the only one that thought it was a good idea.
He was a price play. He was only 3.2, batting in Kush, batting 5th or 6th. He was definitely a price play. I had him at like 70% exposure. It was such a bad night for me.
Yeah. I got trolled on Twitter for that. I said, Cargo's a great play. And
that was so funny. That? I couldn't believe it. I was like, I just didn't understand. I was like, why do you? It doesn't make. He was from a DFS perspective, maybe not from a baseball perspective because he's struggling this year, but from a DFS price, everything Goudsaab just said, from all those perspectives, DFS. If you're a DFS grinder and he was the play that night. Like it wasn't like he was somebody you had to have a lot of exposure to because of his price and the circumstances. Like it was just. So, like, it was just so funny that the guy was giving shit about it. I was like, wait, what the fuck? This guy told Goudsaab. This guy told the Cuse on Twitter about, like, because Cuse had mentioned about, he was on, we were all on tilt about him getting scratched. And the guy was like, well, you obviously shouldn't be playing DFS if you played Carlos Gonzalez tonight. And I was like, what?
Then finally, I was just like, have a good night.
I've seen a lot of tweets about it. How could you play Carlos Gonzalez? And he was 3-2. He was batting in Kush. He was 6. He's a lefty against a righty. What else you need?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, Clayton Kershaw of Patio's Los Angeles Dodgers visiting Dinelson Lamet, another Wise Take favorite of the San Diego Padres. What you got here, Cuse?
Like we talked about, I loved Kershaw until I saw he was on a 5-inning, 75-pitch limit. I mean, unless he can pitch a 75-pitch complete game shutout, which probably not going to happen because of the way he has such a swinging rate miss that he'll probably barely make 5 innings in my opinion. He might go 4.5. So obviously Kershaw is just like a scratch for me on the slate. I love Lamet. I mean, the Dodgers. There's a few guys in the lineup that worry me, like Granderson and Turner. So if you get like Taylor, I'm sorry. If you get a Taylor, Granderson 1-2, I might back off Lamet a little bit, but Lamet's been pretty consistent lately. I don't know what his price tag is for tomorrow. I'm looking real fast. He is
on FanDuel. He's 7.6. I don't know what he is on DraftKings.
That's not bad.
7.6 on DK.
So, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to try to, people see the Dodgers and they're probably not going to try to roster him. So I think, I'm not sure what his upside is, but I think he's definitely somebody to consider. As far as the bats, like I said, if I don't play Lamet, if they do like a Taylor, Granderson, Turner, Bellinger, Grandal, like I'll have some interest maybe in the Dodgers if I get off Lamet. Other than that, like I have no interest in the San Diego bats.
Gotcha. Goudsaab, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I was all interested on Kershaw when I saw his game matchup against Padres. But after knowing his pitch count, probably he's not a play. Even if you want to play him in GPP, 5 innings with 13.5K price tag, you need at least 16 to 20 points, and I don't get innings, you get the 3 points. So no interest in either of these pitchers. The reason I'm not interested in Lamet is the lefties against the righties in this ground at 85 and 49% humidity. I think I'll fade Lamet tomorrow.
Fade Lamet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Sean Manaea, the lefty from the Oakland Athletics, visiting Mike Leake, making his debut for the Seattle Mariners. Cuse, go ahead. What you got, man?
It should be a good pitching conditions tomorrow for this game. However, I'm not playing Leake. Leake's just, I don't know. Like, I think I'd rather trade for Bartolo Colon right now. Like, Leake is just, I have no interest in Leake. Did you choke?
I'm good. It sounded like you said you'd rather play Bartolo Colon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bartolo would be a better play than Leak. Leak is just look at his game log. Like his game log is just I don't know. It's just trash. Like he hasn't done. Look at his FanDuel game log: 18, -5, 18, 20, 18, 40. He threw a 49 in, and then he mixed it in with a -6 and 18 and an 8. Like there's nothing there that would make me want to play this guy. I know Oakland's been struggling with their bats, but I still want to touch him. Mania. I have a little bit of interest in him, but I probably won't touch him anyways. I do like the Oakland bats in this game. You know, I think you get a cheap double stack in there with them tomorrow. Seattle, I'm just not on them right now. They haven't really been doing much for me.
Yeah, I gotcha. Goudsaab, what you got here, man?
No interest in either of those pitchers. Both are gas games. Definitely agree with Cuse. Mania, he's got like walk issues. He's got hard contact issues. Definitely, I'm going to start in this. This game is at 10 o'clock. Probably you can get them at lower ownership. Both the stocks are in play, and Oakland too. I understand like they don't have much power, much ISO and all, but Mike Lake, he's got the walk issues, hard contact issues, and he doesn't strike out the lefties at all. So you can just stack this Oaks team.
Oh, okay, I definitely think in the beginning of the year, Leak looked like he was doing all right. He was actually one of their better pitchers. Somewhere along the lines, man, things just went wrong for the guy. It's just like I don't know what it was, but if you remember the beginning of the year when all the other guys were struggling a little bit, him and Walker were kind of holding down the Cardinals on the pitching front. And man, dude, I guess he just gave it all he had. I guess it's just because he has just been awful. Last game, we got Jack Flaherty of the St. Louis Cardinals visiting Johnny Cueto. There's somebody we haven't heard in a while. Of the San Francisco Giants, Cuse's San Francisco Giants.
Don't say that too loud, people. Yeah. I can't play Cueto. Like I played him earlier in the year, and the guy I just don't see that. There's too many decent pitchers that I like already to even take a shot on this guy tomorrow. St. Louis been hot, so no Cueto. Flaherty is he's my super punt for tomorrow. I usually is one super low salary guy that I'll promote all the time. Like if you want a core stack for whatever reason, Flaherty is my guy tomorrow. I don't know what's his price on DK. Do they have it? I don't even see him. Oh, he's 6'7" on DK, even on DK. So he's 6'7" on DK, 5'8" on FanDuel. He's a top 5 prospect for the Cardinals. He had a awesome year down in AAA. So he's got the K upside too. They sit down in AAA. He had 85 Ks, 20 walks. So, and that's over almost a 90 inning sample size. Giants have been hitting a little bit, but they've also been striking out a little bit more. You know, you never know what type of lineup you're going to get from them. So I love Flaherty tomorrow. As far as bats, if I do play any bats, the only guys that I'll be playing are maybe like a DeJong. I've been all over DeJong for like the last 2 weeks, and I like the guy's just been working out for me. So that'll probably be the only guy I would play from this entire game.
Yeah, gotcha. Goudsaab, what do you think here?
I'm not going to pay that price tag for Johnny Cueto unless I see him pitching well, and I have zero interest. But as Q said, I have little interest on this Flaherty guy. His numbers look good, and the San Francisco team is bad. So definitely I'll play Flaherty tomorrow in GPPs.
Hey man, I like that call with Flaherty, and we have a total that's like it's not like crazy low, but it's low enough, and then we have the St. Louis Cardinals are actually slight favorites. So you got this rookie, a rookie making his first start against Johnny Cueto. I know it's his first start back, but like he's an established veteran, like he's respectable, and Andy's at home, and yet he's an underdog. So I think that's saying something about this kid. So I think that's a great call. I didn't know anything about him until you guys just talked about him. So
yeah, plus he's pitching in San Fran. That's
he gets the big boost too. He gets the ballpark boost for sure. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and play the Pick'em MLB pick'em. We're gonna build a lineup together. It's a first line. It's a first build. Just a little fun. We throw something together, obviously. Anybody listening, play at your own risk. This is just three guys just having fun talking and just building a line together. This isn't in any way are we recommending this necessarily. This is just us messing around and spitballing some ideas for fun. Exactly. So tier 1, fellas: Blake Snell, Kevin Gausman, Sonny Gray, Garrett Cole, Luis Castillo, Jimmy Nelson, Cole Hamels, and Dan Straley. Ooh.
For me, I love Snell. I'm all over Snell tomorrow.
I like Snell too.
Let's do it. I'm all in on Snell, man. I was loving Snell. I like it. The only problem is I'm probably going to have to name the podcast after him, and the name Snell is kind of like, doesn't really leave you with much wiggle room. Tier 2, Doug Fister, Tanner Roark, Nick Pivetta, Taijuan Walker, Kyle Freeland, Denilson Lamet, Chris Stratton, who I don't even think is pitching. DraftKings has Chris Stratton on there.
Yeah.
And then Jack Flaherty. Oh, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because at first I was like, I think they're going to like Walker. But now, after seeing Flaherty, now I'm like, oh, shit, no, I don't know. It's just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a matter of who's going to outscore who. I think Walker will go low owned, but I like Flaherty, but it's a tough. Who is the public going to go to here? No, I think it's going to be pretty spread out.
Yeah.
I think Roark isn't.
Yeah.
You think people will go to Roark, or you like Roark?
I like Roark.
All right, we could do Roark. I'm down with it. Cuse, you down with it? You know what's weird, man?
I mean, I don't. I think Rourke's going to do good. That's a tough one. Like, I would like if you play this stuff. This is the spot where you would differentiate. Like, I would make 3 lineups and definitely try a few guys in this tier 2.
Yeah. This is definitely like the crapshoot tier for pitching right here. This is like pick your poison kind of thing. You know what I mean? For sure. Tier 3: Brian Dozier, Manny Machado, Mike Trout, Giancarlo Stanton, Paul Goldschmidt, Charlie Blackmon, JD Martinez, Nolan Arenado. Wow, that's just a loaded tier, man. Oh, damn.
I'll do Trout.
What do you like,
Trout against Hamels?
Yeah.
I'd be on Goldie, but I'd be afraid he'd be too much chalk. Like, if we can get a hold of the real Slim Gating. Yeah, if we get a hold of real Slim Gating, tell him not to play Stanton, I'll take Stanton.
Yeah, we got to give him a call. Dude, do you plan on playing him tomorrow? You got to let us know. All right, so we'll go with Hamels strictly because we don't know for sure. But listen, if you're listening to the show, ask Gady tomorrow. Get a hold of him on Twitter at RealSlimGady. Say, Gady, brother man, tell me, are you playing Stanton tonight? And if he says no and you would rather play Stanton here over Trout, you can do that if you'd like. But if he says yes, just keep Trout in there and just thank everybody later.
The best was like in the premium chat when somebody was like, can we, they asked, is he playing him?
Does anybody know?
Took the wheels a while in my head to turn. I'm like, why do they want to know if he's playing or not? And I remembered the podcast.
Yes. Like, why are they asking about if he's playing one specific player or not? This is like, all right, tier 4: Francisco Lindor, Mookie Betts, Joey Votto, Trey Turner, Nelson Cruz, AJ Pollock, Jake Lamb, and Cody Bellinger.
Nelson Cruz, lefty.
Nelson Cruz against Manaea. What do you think, Hughes?
I love Lindor. I think the Cleveland's just going to blow the doors off Detroit tomorrow.
Which
I think
Lindor?
Detroit packed it up.
This is going to be Lindor against Boyd, supposedly, right?
Doesn't even matter. I mean, that's just somebody plays.
It really doesn't.
It
really doesn't.
That's the other thing with the double headers. You never know who's going to play and who's going to sit. But usually Lindor always plays. So,
you know what? Looking at this, here's the question. Who do you think is going to be more popular? Because keep in mind, this is an opportunity for guys to play these players without worrying about salary. That's the question.
I think Votto's chalk.
You think Votto against Cole is chalk?
I think people are just going to look at the names, and Votto's had such an amazing season that people are going to be happy to get him in this tier.
And I think Bloom's going to be chopped too.
Think so? Yeah.
Well, the standard Cruz against a lefty, Minaya has been struggling.
Yeah.
So you know what? We'll go with Lindor here. Like, I do like Cruz as a play, but strictly just to get a little funky and different, we'll go with Lindor there. Let's see. T5, we got Jose Ramirez, Jonathan Scope, Gary the Goat, Daniel Murphy, Marcelo Zuna, Gerardo Parra, Chris Taylor, and Tommy Pham.
Whatever Goudsaab likes for this tier, because I hate it.
Scoop.
I'm with it, man. Scoop. Yeah. Be a genie. Yeah, we talked about that. Be a genie. Yeah. He sucks. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's do this. Sorry, Joe. I know Joe always likes Be a Genie. He admits that he sucks, but because the Italian thing, he's got to hold strong for that. but he always admits that Be a Genie's bad. But you know, Joe, he's got that Italian pride. I'm with you, Joe. We got you. All right, Edwin Encarnacion, Kevin Kiermaier, Josh Donaldson, Aaron Judge, Adrian Beltre if he plays, Robinson Cano, Justin Turner, and Curtis Granderson.
Trying to force the Dodgers. Play Granderson and thank me later.
Ooh, you know what? You were so confident. I think we have to go with that. That was such a confident statement right there. Goudsaab, you cool?
Yeah.
Let's plug in Grandy.
He's been crushing it.
He has been, and we had a break because he went up against the lefty, so he didn't do much. But he's got a righty.
Oh, I love the man. I said the other, was it yesterday when me and Paulie did the premium? I said the only guy that doesn't worry me in the Dodgers order is Granderson because he doesn't hit lefties. And what's he do? He hits a bomb. Like when he's hitting home runs off lefties, which he usually doesn't. Like the guy's just locked in.
Yeah, he's on. He's on for sure. He seems to be excited about the playoff push thing. He's the end of his career, of course. He's got maybe a couple years left, but maybe if he wants to be a role player, but he seems to be enjoying himself, like being in the playoff hunt on a good team. For sure.
Look for the lineup. If Kiermaier is batting leadoff, then probably he's a good contrarian player.
Yeah, for sure. Tier 7, Jorge Polanco, Whit Merrifield, Steven Souza, Adam Jones, Xander Bogaerts, Anthony Rendon, Elvis Andrus, and Rhys Hoskins. Yeah, let you guys know
Souza.
For a second.
I'm okay with that.
Souza?
Yeah.
It's
good.
Souza it is, man. I love Souza against righties. Last tier, Lorenzo Cain, Jose Abreu, if he plays, Andrew Benintendi, Josh Bell, Matt Joyce, Crush Davis, Dexter Fowler, Matt Carpenter. Crush Davis isn't with a K.
I love Matt. Matt Joyce has been nobody's probably gonna play him in this tier.
Oh, I can dig the Joyce. I can definitely dig him.
Well, he's been. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, the light switch went on, and he's been hitting the ball, crushing the ball lately. So.
Yeah, he's having a phenomenal year. Yeah, and on top of that, Leak. Well, you would really want to attack Leak with lefties, really. So I think that matches up well. So there you go: Blake Snell, Tanner Rourke, Mike Trout, Francisco Lindor, Jonathan Scope, Curtis Granderson, Steven Souza, Matt Joyce. Keep in mind, ask the Real Slim Gady tomorrow. Hit him up on Twitter at Real Slim Gady. Say, Gady, are you playing Stanton tomorrow? And if he says no, and you feel like you want to substitute Trout for Stanton. You have our blessing there, but only if he says no. If he says he's playing Stanton, you're gonna have to leave Trout in there.
He's gonna wake up to like 15
One last thing. Matt Joyce is your cash game play too. I'll read his stats. Okay, 9, 16, 9, 18, 12, 19, 27, 19, 9. So that's his stats against righties in the last 10 or 12 games. So he's a good cash game play for tomorrow.
Love it.
I love it too. I think I'm with it. Okay, so before we get out of here, I just want to let you guys know we are launching our NFL package. So those of you who are signed up currently with us, you will remain on your plans, get all sports for the listed price. But the time is running out. The football package is launching. It'll be launching by the time you guys see this in the morning. So we have, for the NFL package, we have $74.99 up front. That covers the full NFL season. Or you can choose to pay $19.99 per month. You're going to get premium articles, and the on-site chat. You get, obviously, the premium Wise stream, pre-lock, and, of course, you're going to get access to the NFL data model. which will be available for you guys next week. You can sign up now. Use promo code HOOTYHOO. That's HOOTYHOO. And save 10% off any package. We do have trials available. We'll have a week pass if you want to try it for a week, etc. But football season's here. It starts next week. The baseball package we will have up there as well for those of you that want to ride out the rest of the baseball season with us. And for those of you getting ready for football, man, don't waste any time. Sign up. We're not going to offer the one-time payment plan for too much longer. It's pretty much just an early bird special kind of thing for those of you that want to ride with us for the full season. So yeah, we're excited. We're super excited. We're gonna have everybody on board, and we're all pumped for football. I think listen, we love baseball, we love basketball, but they're more of a grind. Football is definitely, it's once a week. You build up the angst all week. You got all week to do your research. You've second guessed yourself 250,000 times already. It's you know what I mean. So and you just let it ride on Sundays. So we're all super excited about that, guys. So. So that's pretty much the big news. Again, those of you who are currently signed up, we told you to sign up. We told you to stick with us, and this was why. You will be grandfathered in if you keep your existing plans. Nothing will change. You'll get access to actually all the sports that we offer. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Go ahead.
Please. No.
I was saying the premium shows and the chat itself are worth the $20. If I didn't play DFS, I'd probably sign up just for that.
Yeah. You definitely get your entertainment aspect for sure. I was just saying, I'm sure there's people who actually watch this podcast who probably don't really play, or they listen to the pod even when they're not playing.
Right. Because
especially when a guy like Joe's on the show, because I think you just never know what's going to go down. You just, no pun. Yeah, that guy's wild. But we love Patty with Joe for sure. Goudsaab, bro, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, hopping on. Cuse as always, brother. Great job, man. I'm glad to have you guys part of the team, man. It's always fun, man. We always have a good time. Anyway, guys, if you win, if you're doing well, shout us out on Twitter. We'd love to hear back from you. #HootyHoo, #Owls up top. For Goudsaab, for myself, as always, good luck.
Yeah.